Watch. A young photographer drives along a scenic mountain highway, a typical lookout point. A call to his sister. Everything's fine. The light is simply incredible. I'll be moving on in 30 minutes. But he never moves. After an hour, his car is found. Engine running, door open. Inside was expensive camera, laptop, maps. But no sign of him. A webcam at the viewpoint breaks exactly at that moment. Lens cap is found a mile away, neatly placed on a milestone. Then his diary, found nearby, in an already searched area. At night, his phone suddenly activates 20 miles from where it began. Now think, who is planting items in already searched zones? And why? Why does every missing person on this road leave similar clues, as if following someone else's route? Blue Ridge Parkway stretches for hundreds of miles, cutting through dense forests and fog-covered valleys. In autumn, the road becomes a mecca for tourists and photographers. But among dozens of viewpoints, there's one locals avoid stopping at, Whispering Cliff. Officially, it's just a spot with a beautiful view. Unofficially, a place with a bad reputation. The name comes from strange acoustics. Sometimes the wind whistles through the rocks, making sounds like whispering. But old-timers say it's not the wind. They call it a trap for lonely souls. Over the last 30 years, several people have vanished here under similar circumstances. The cases remain unsolved, turning into campfire stories. 24-year-old Liam Carter was the last person you'd expect at the center of such a tale. Quiet, organized, shy. Obsessed with his craft, he could wait hours for perfect light. Friends described him as incredibly cautious. Liam planned every minute of his trips, his sister Emily told police. He always carried 3 spare batteries, 2 memory cards, and never strayed from official trails. In autumn 2012, Liam set out on a solo journey along Blue Ridge Parkway. He ran a detailed online blog, uploading photos and tracking every step. His last post, dated September 14th, read, "Found perfect sunset spot, Whispering Cliff. There's something about that name." September 14th, 2012 started as a usual shooting day. At 10 a.m., he left his motel. At 2 p.m., he stopped at the park's visitor center. An employee said Liam asked about the best sunset spots. He was recommended Whispering Cliff. At 4:30 p.m., Liam messaged his sister. "Here, beautiful, but fog rolling in. I'm here if you need me." A routine check-in. At 5:15, he posted a photo on his blog, a panorama of the valley with the caption, "Waiting for golden hour." Metadata confirmed date and place. At 5:45, he called his sister. The call lasted under a minute. He said the light was perfect. He'd take a few shots. At 6:30, a park ranger on patrol noticed Liam's car. Engine running, but no one around. Ranger Mark Jessup arrived at Whispering Cliff. The scene seemed deceptively simple. A silver Subaru Outback on the parking lot. Engine idling quietly, lights on, driver's door ajar, keys in ignition, open backpack with camera gear. Canon 5D Mark II, several lenses, laptop, worth thousands. Everything looked as if he had stepped away for a quick shot on the ledge. The tripod stood near the stone railing, but without a camera. No signs of struggle, no damage. Just an empty lookout at sunset and a car waiting for its driver. By morning, September 15th, news of the missing photographer reached seasoned park staff. The story sounded eerily familiar. In the Ranger Cafe, a retiring veteran told young officers, "This happens every 5 to 7 years, always in autumn." In 1998, a tourist girl vanished at this very spot. Her backpack was found by the car, but she was gone. In 2005, a musician disappeared, someone who came here to write music. His guitar was left in the open trunk. The pattern was the same, a vehicle with keys or engine running, personal, often valuable belongings left in plain sight, and no trace of the owner. "All these people are taken by this place," said an old ranger, "and every time we find the same things." Detective Linda Hayes, tasked with the case, requested archives of all disappearances at the Whispering Cliff. The paper files held stories filled with disturbing contradictions. In the 1998 case, one witness claimed to have seen a tourist girl leaving the forest with a man, but the witness later retracted his statement, and his name vanished from the final report. In the 2005 musician case, the reported time of the car's discovery varied by 3 hours in different documents, making the timeline impossible. Such inconsistencies shouldn't exist in official files, Hayes wrote in her report. The sheriff's archivist confirmed files related to disappearances along the Blue Ridge Parkway often contained errors or missing pages. "I've seen files lost or rewritten," he said. "Can't say if it was accidental." The only witness's testimony only muddied things. Ranger Mark Jessup, first to find Liam's car, claimed he saw Liam's silhouette at around 6:18 p.m. "He was standing at the stone parapet," Jessup said, gesticulating as if arguing with someone unseen. "I thought he was on a loud phone call, but when I returned minutes later, no one was there." He was sure he saw Liam speaking to someone, but there was no other car or person at the lookout. Detective Hayes noted in her report, "The witness claims to see a conversation, but the victim was alone. Maybe he was mistaken, strained eyes fooled by distance and dusk." Jessup stood by his story, but it didn't fit the bigger picture. On the second day of the search, September 16th, rangers combing the trails nearby made their first strange find. About a mile from the lookout on a wooden tourist trail sign lay a lens cap. It was perfectly centered on the plaque, a metal Canon L-series cap, exactly matching Liam's camera. It looked pristine, without dust or dew, though there had been fog the night before. But here's the twist. This section of trail had been thoroughly searched the previous evening. Dozens of volunteers and rangers passed here. The cap wasn't there. "It doesn't make sense," said Detective Hayes. "If Liam was walking, he can't have left it like that. If it was planted, then who and when put it there in an already scoured zone?" The K-9 unit summoned to the scene faced unexplained behavior. 2 German shepherds, trained to track the faintest scent, were brought to Liam's car. They were given a jacket from his backpack to sniff. K-9 Michael Reed reported, "The dogs picked up a trail starting at the driver's door, led to the stone railing of the lookout, then stopped. They acted restless, whining, but refused to move forward or indicate a direction. One dog began barking at the empty air over the valley. An unusual behavior. The attempt was repeated next day at the site where the lens cap was found. Same result. The dogs refused to track." Archives in the 2005 case contained a similar note. Search dogs there also refused to work at Whispering Cliff, circling and howling. A publicly accessible webcam was installed at the lookout, streaming live views of the valley. Investigators immediately requested recorded footage from the service company. The recordings confirmed Liam's Subaru arrived at the parking lot at 4:25 p.m. At 5:15 p.m., Liam left the car and approached the parapet with his tripod. He stood there, periodically taking photos, but at 5:48, the recording abruptly stops. For the next 10 minutes, until 5:58, the server captured only corrupted data, gray fields, digital noise, and frozen frames lasting several seconds. At 5:58, the recording resumed. The picture was perfect, but Liam and his tripod were gone. The tech team couldn't explain the malfunction. "This isn't a power outage," their report stated, "more like a powerful local interference." On the third day of the investigation, an elderly man named Ed Harris came to the sheriff's office. He said when he saw Liam's photo in the paper, he recognized him. Harris claimed that in the 1980s, while working in the park, he saw a young man very much like Liam, camera around his neck, walk into dense fog at Whispering Cliff and simply never come out. I called for him, shouted, but there was no answer. The fog cleared after 10 minutes, and there was no one on the cliff, he said. His story sounded like the ravings of an old man. Liam wasn't even born in the 1980s. Detective Hayes politely took his statement, noting in her report, "The witness insists on resemblance, but his story conflicts with the facts." The police considered his words unreliable, but it was a strange coincidence. Another photographer, another fog, the same place, adding another layer of mystery. On the night of September 15th, nearly 30 hours after Liam disappeared, his phone suddenly came alive. It made a single call to his own voicemail. The signal was picked up by a cell tower 20 miles away, in a remote forested valley with no roads or dwellings nearby. When police played the message, it was almost empty. 3 seconds of silence. Then a barely audible melodic sound, like chimes, bamboo or wind chimes. And that was all. Expert analysis confirmed the call was genuine. Rangers searched the valley from which the signal came. They found nothing. No phone, no tracks, no camp, only dense, untouched forest. This clue gave no answers. It only expanded the geographical mystery. While searches were active, several rangers and volunteers working near Whispering Cliff at twilight independently reported strange phenomena. Around sunset, sounds near the lookout would suddenly stop. No birds, no crickets, not even rustling leaves. Absolute oppressive silence. Like being sealed in a vacuum, Ranger Michael Reed wrote in his report. This unnatural silence matched reports from older cases where witnesses mentioned dead zones along the highway. Some also reported strange wandering lights over the valley, the so-called Opalak fires, which were unusually active these days. These observations weren't direct evidence, but created an oppressive atmosphere that confirmed the place's dark reputation. On the 9th day of the search, September 23rd, the case took a new turn. A team of criminologists, re-examining the lookout site millimeter by millimeter, found Liam's diary. It lay beneath a wooden bench, tucked between supports. This was impossible. The area had been cordoned off from the start. It had been searched dozens of times. Everyone had looked under that bench, yet the diary wasn't there. Moreover, several heavy rains had fallen over the past week, but the thin cardboard-covered diary was completely dry and clean. It looked as if it was placed there 5 minutes ago, Detective Hayes noted upon arriving. This was the second impossible clue appearing in an already cleared zone. The final entry in the diary was different from all before. Usually, Liam wrote detailed shooting notes, weather, plans. But on the last page, in neat, almost calligraphic handwriting, was just one sentence. A quote from an old Opalak ballad, "Cliff, your name whispers in the silence, and your depths take the soul." Handwriting analysis confirmed it was Liam's. But when forensic scientists verified the ink, they were shocked. The inscription was made no more than 24 hours ago. This was physically impossible. The diary vanished with Liam 9 days ago. Either the analysis was wrong or someone with Liam's handwriting made the entry and planted the diary in the search area. At the end of September, the police officially acknowledged that no standard theory explains all the facts. Abduction seemed plausible given the disappearance. But why would kidnappers leave the car and expensive gear, then plant clues, risking being caught? Suicide was completely out of character for Liam. His plans and last messages contradicted the idea. Besides, no body was ever found. An accident? A fall from the cliff was ruled out. No traces or body were discovered at the base, despite thorough searches with climbing gear. Every theory crumbled beneath the weight of conflicting and illogical evidence. The pristine lens cap, the dry diary, the phone call from nowhere, the dog's strange behavior. Among investigators, especially in unofficial talks, one theory gained ground, voiced by an old ranger on day one. It wasn't a crime in the usual sense. It looked like a performance, a ritual. The clues weren't lost or forgotten. They were placed deliberately. The lens cap on the signpost, the diary under the bench, not accidents, but carefully staged highlights. As if someone or something was playing the same play every few years, casting a new actor, but leaving the same scenery. The goal wasn't to hide a crime, but to tell a story, confusing, illogical, yet repeating. But who was the director of this chilling show, and why? Studying old cases, Detective Hayes noticed another pattern. All missing at Whispering Cliff were solitary, creative souls, coming for inspiration. In 1998, a student artist painting landscapes vanished. In 2005, Bart, a guitarist writing mountain songs, went missing. Now Liam Carter, the photographer. They weren't random tourists, but observers, people trying to capture the spirit of this place. Somehow, it seemed the place captured them instead. A cycle every 5 to 7 years. The autumn season, a solitary creative soul. It formed a sinister pattern, like a natural or supernatural mechanism, working by unknown rules. The Liam Carter case remains unsolved. Declared missing, presumed lost. Whispering Cliff's viewpoint remains unchanged. A spot with breathtaking views and haunting silence. But for those who know the story, it became a symbol of the unexplainable. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Liam, but one thing haunts me. All the clues were too perfect, too theatrical, like someone wanted the story to look exactly like this. So here's my question to you. Do you believe this is the work of a person, a ritualistic maniac acting over decades? Or is the place itself to blame, a cliff that, by its own rules and schedule, takes those who try to unravel its secret? I'm waiting for your theories in the comments. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay safe, and remember, some places don't want to be understood.